Welcome to The Explainer. If you look back through the rich history of global sports, you'll find that some tournaments are remembered for historically great unified teams, right? But every once in a while, an entire event is defined by the sheer will of just one single individual. In 1986, the World Cup didn't just feature Diego Maradona, it belonged entirely to him. We're going to look at how one player didn't just compete, but completely dominated and literally carried an entire nation on his shoulders.
Okay, let's dive into this. Imagine the intense, heart-pounding pressure of stepping onto the world's biggest stage, knowing millions of people are hanging on your every single move. Plenty of other legends played in 1986, for sure, but the narrative of that entire month was dictated by just one man who brought an unprecedented level of inspiration to the pitch.
Section 1. The Stage, Mexico 1986. To really get a grasp on this performance, we first have to understand the grueling environment where the whole shebang took place. We are talking extreme heat and punishing altitude in Mexico. Physical exhaustion was just the baseline. Incredibly talented teams were literally gasping for air, and established legends were completely fading out of matches. But Maradona, wearing that iconic number 10 for Argentina, he seemed totally immune to the elements. The environment broke everyone else, but it didn't even touch him. He was the absolute heartbeat of his team.
So, how did this supposed immunity actually look on the pitch? Well, right out of the gate in Match 1 against South Korea, opponents realized pretty quickly they couldn't stop him legally. So, they targeted him, relentlessly fouled him. But he just kept getting back up. By Match 2, facing the defending champions, Italy, he scores this delicate, just absolutely beautiful finish to make a massive statement. And by the end of the group stage, Argentina was visibly growing stronger. And honestly, Maradona was just getting started.
Part 2. The Breakout, the England quarterfinal.
Okay, let's slow things down for a second, because we have now reached the absolute focal point of the tournament. This was a match incredibly charged with historical weight and raw emotion. First came the chaos. The opening goal of the match was the infamous Hand of God. Now, this was a highly controversial moment where Maradona essentially, punched the ball into the net. It went completely unpenalized by the officials and absolutely shocked the watching world. Look, we aren't here to debate the morality of the call. Rather, this moment perfectly captures the chaotic and almost mythological nature of this specific match.
Now, what's really interesting about this number is it's just 4, exactly 4 minutes. That is literally all the time that passed between the ultimate chaotic controversy of that first goal and the ultimate undeniable perfection of his second. Think about that. Just 4 minutes to go from a worldwide scandal to a moment of pure sporting transcendence.
This second goal, which a lot of people call the goal of the century, completely defies logic. So he picks up the ball deep in his own half, right? And then he systematically dribbles past 5 different England players, just navigating through them as if they were training cones on a practice pitch. He rounds the keeper with supreme composure and scores. Actually, scratch that. It wasn't just a great play. It was absolute, undeniable genius showcasing an individual utterly unstoppable by any defense on earth.
These 2 goals completely summarize the ultimate football paradox in a single match. On one hand, you have the chaotic, the highly controversial, the stuff steeped in myth, and on the other hand, perfect, unstoppable, pure genius. In just one game, Maradona gave the world the 2 extreme ends of his identity. They were completely different in nature, yet both were absolutely unforgettable.
Section 3. Total Control, the Masterful Orchestrator.
Coming out of that historic England match, Maradona possessed this supreme, almost terrifying level of confidence. He had fully transitioned from a star player to a masterful orchestrator. In the semifinal against Belgium, he dictated the entire tempo of the match and scored 2 more brilliant, decisive goals. It was like every single attack flowed right through him. Every defender feared his next move. He wasn't just playing the game anymore, he was conducting it.
Part 4. The Final. A War of Nerves. And that brings us to the ultimate test against West Germany. This wasn't just a match, it was an absolute grind of a battle. Picture the tension here. Argentina goes up with a commanding 2-0 lead, but West Germany fights back. Suddenly, it's a tense 2-2 tie, and the momentum is rapidly shifting away from Argentina. So, with the lead slipping away, what does the orchestrator do? When everything seems to be falling apart on the biggest, most unforgiving stage in the world, how does the heartbeat of the team actually respond?
In the most important moment of the entire month, he doesn't panic.
Instead of trying to force a wild solo run, he delivers a perfectly weighted pass, literally threading the needle right through the West German defense directly to his teammate, Jorge Baruchaga. Goal. 3-2. That incredible vision and execution under immense pressure crowned Argentina as champions, totally cementing his absolute dominance.
Section 5. Dominance and Legacy. The numbers.
As the confetti fell in Mexico, it became immediately clear to everyone that we had just witnessed something completely unprecedented. The final stats are pretty staggering. 5 goals, 5 assists. But numbers only tell a fraction of the story. Hidden between those stats were countless moments of magic, spaces created, and defenses completely manipulated. Maradona didn't just lead his team to a trophy. For that 1 month in 1986, he literally was Argentina.
The 1986 tournament remains a paradox. It was built on unimaginable skill, but also intense controversy. It was high art, and it was pure chaos, vividly illustrated by those 2 iconic goals against England we talked about. This duality is exactly what makes the tournament so unforgettable, rendering Maradona simultaneously human and seemingly superhuman at the exact same time.
A lot of players have had undeniably great tournaments, but very few have truly owned one. In 1986, every pass, every move, and every crucial moment led back to one single man. So I'll leave you with this to ponder. Is this the greatest individual World Cup performance of all time, or has anyone else in history even come close to this level of absolute, solitary dominance? Think about it, and keep questioning the history behind the numbers.